dear learners of Center for Distance and Online Education, Chitkara University. First of all, I heartily welcome and I'm delighted to have Mr. Jasper Fortuin, who is COO Asia and Middle East, Managing Director India, WorldAmp. Mr. Jasper has extensive experience at KPN, DSB Bank, and in many reputed companies. He's also a mentor, panelist, public speaker, blogger. He has done his studies from prestigious institutes like Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, AOG School of Management. We welcome you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Rahul.
In today's digital world, cybersecurity is one of the most crucial skills to master with cyber threats evolving rapidly. It is essential for individuals and organizations to stay ahead. Mr. Jasper will guide you through key aspects of cybersecurity. We invite our dignitary to share his experiences on master cybersecurity, one of the most sought after skills today. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Rahul. Thanks a lot. And a big warm welcome to everyone who is in the meeting. And I hope that we will have some more attendees coming in. I already see almost 30, 35 people. So that is a good number. I am currently in Bangalore, the beautiful city of Bangalore, flying back to my hometown of Pune. I'm staying in Pune. And I've been to the beautiful campus of the Chitkara University a couple of years ago. So thanks again for inviting me. I will be sharing my screen. However, I don't want to make this a traditional PowerPoint presentation. So at some point, I will also ask you people to open up your mic and to start sharing your ideas. So the title of the talk is called Master Cybersecurity, one of the most sought after skills today. Okay. Before I introduce myself, I want to start with a funny anecdote. This lady, her name is Jaya Balu. She is from Indian origin. And when I was working at KPN in India, she was the KPN CISO. I spoke to her with a couple of other senior leaders from KPN, and she obviously wanted to talk about cybersecurity, security risks. And this is a funny story because we were all in a big auditorium, and then I pointed out something that was written on a whiteboard, and it said, password, welcome 123. Now, I laughed about it. She also laughed about it, but it explains the most weakest link in cybersecurity. That is the human. Well, I'm going to talk a lot about you, your future role, the human aspect, but also the business aspect of cybersecurity. But first, let me introduce myself. And I want to introduce myself by sharing this picture of me. This was a couple of years ago in the Taj Hotel in Mumbai, where me and my wife met the Dutch King and Queen. And this could also meant a lot to me because we both love India, me and my wife. And I think I could also say that our king and our queen really love India. I've been brought up in Amsterdam, and for 20 years, I've worked for a big telecommunication company. And the last 5 years, I've worked for this company in India. And I'm back in India for the second time, and now I'm working for a different company, a scale-up called WorldAmp. Now, there's also one thing that I want to share with you. That is my full disclosure. And that is a simple thing. I don't have any financial interest in doing this talk. Why am I saying this? Is I am really an enthusiast and an ambassador for cybersecurity. I like the people at Chitkara, but for me, there is no interest other than just having a good time with you for the upcoming 50 minutes. Okay, what I want to talk about is my perspective. My perspective of cybersecurity. And my perspective might be different than your perspective. Because what I would say is if you're working in cybersecurity, your vision should not solely focus on avoiding cyber attacks. Instead, put most emphasis on ensuring business continuity. Now, part of the curriculum, of course, is about technical stuff. But nowadays, in larger organizations, if you're only bringing in your technical knowledge and your technical skills, it's not going to add a lot of value. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, a little bit of history. And I think it was, let's say, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, big organizations, governmental organizations, they always had security people. But their focus was on securing people, paper documents, machines, and buildings. And these security agents were also, you could say, low-wage jobs. You don't need to have a university degree to become a security agent in a company. Now, let's move on and go back to, let's say, 5 to 10 years ago, depending on the size of the company, depending on how far the company is with their cybersecurity. But you could say that cybersecurity was put under the umbrella and the department of IT. Now, what do you think happened if you worked over there? And I can tell you, it would not be easy because you're fighting for some slots in the roadmap if you want to implement things. Nobody knew why you were there. Nobody really acknowledged the problem. And I would say you were an odd one out in the IT department. Now, I think a lot of things have changed since then, because nowadays most organizations have a CISO office. They have a CISO office directly reporting to the board, which means that it is put pretty high on the agenda. However, do you think we're all fine now? We're not, because there are still a lot of organizations at risk because they're not secured. And here are a couple of examples of big breaches and hacks. And you need to understand that these hacks are done at really big organizations where they're supposed to have pretty good cybersecurity measures, policies, and a lot of people working to avoid these kind of things. And still, it happens. So, which is, I would say, is a big thing. Now, if you talk about the modern organization and you look at cybersecurity, and I would like to, I'm just stop sharing. If you want to participate, I would like to ask you the question, could you name any department within an organization, and especially departments where cybersecurity should be on the agenda? If you want to say something, please open up. Unmute yourself.
Hi, sir. My name is Arjun Thakur, and
Yeah.
I'm presently working with Cipla Pharmaceuticals.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And the thing is, as you might have aware that the pharmaceuticals are also very plays a very vital role in the industrial line.
Yeah.
And but the most important thing is that the documentation, which is the IT people always send us emails and do not open such kind of fish emails and be aware of such things, and they put a lot of uh, like there are many channels that the people have uh, teach us about the security. So we people individual, we every individual in this whomsoever is working in this country, in this organization, I mean to say, and players go a very, like, I mean to say, it's a very difficult task for us to maintain the integrity.
Okay, good. Thanks for your comments, Arjun. Anyone else who wants to say something? And my question is, like, what kind of departments, divisions within a company? Simon, you're chatting, yeah? Could you name?
Sir, R&D.
Yes. Okay. Good. Anyone else?
Basically, from outside, yes, it seems that IT department is responsible for managing the organization, technology, infrastructure, including its network and all, right? So as such, they are the front lines for defending any specific cyber attacks, right? And it's worth nothing then that IT department plays a crucial role. Cybersecurity should be shared responsibility across all the departments, with everyone understanding the importance, and sensitivity for information and security best practices and all, right?
Good. Anyone else with other ideas about divisions or departments within an organization?
Yeah.
Anything?
Hi, Jasper. Dipanjan here. I'm Dipanjan from Pune.
Yes.
I'm working in PIA Global Capabilities as Privacy Compliance Officer.
Yeah.
Now, I feel that the Data Protection Office requires a lot of hand-holding with the cybersecurity team because privacy is a very important aspect in terms of protecting personal information. And there are a lot of data breaches, penalties, regulatory compliances, which are related to different type of cybersecurity controls you use within an organization to protect personal information and privacy within the organization.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Anyone else with particular divisions within a company or an organization where?
I can say HR, finance, and the C-level executives.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a point, Jasper, where a lot of, in fact, with the advancement of technology, you will see each and every household has more than 5 to 6 electronic devices always connected to the internet.
Yes.
So it's not dependent on the organization level. It is everywhere. For example, the IT department or the technological department lays the foundation or designs the system. However, the breaches happen each and every point, and it can escalate if there is no physical security check, or it can even escalate with simple click. This phishing emails where they target each and every individual, and they looks very appealing. The information is quite, it seems genuine, and everybody falls into the trap of that. So I think the onus lies on each and every one of us. And in my opinion, there has to be a sanity check each and every day within the department, outside the department, or the interrelated department, which can be implemented at various levels.
Okay, really good point. Anyone else want to say something, or should we move on? Please share your view. I'm going to open up and ask any one of you, to say or share something later as well, so we can also continue. And let me see. Wait a second. You could already come up with a couple of divisions within an organization, but actually each division could be compromised. We have the CEO and strategy office, we have finance, we have sales and marketing, operations, IT, legal and compliance, R&D, product development, logistics. And in bigger organizations, there are multiple systems, software and platforms, and they're mostly connected to each other, which means that if you're working in cybersecurity, you need to deal with all of those divisions. But let me take you to my idea about what could go wrong. And I'm again going to ask you where organizations could really face a wide range of consequences. So I'm not talking about phishing mail, hack, etc., but the actual consequences. And I'm talking about the broader group of consequences. So anyone wants to share their idea of the potential consequences?
Yeah, the first and foremost is the trust is lost among the customers.
Yes.
And after that, your market capitalization goes down.
Really
so
good.
has
Yeah.
impact on the revenue as well. And
Yeah.
third, the trust of the employees as well, because if they are not able to keep their security in check, how would they ensure their data is not being leaked? So the customers' trust, market share, and potential new deals could go wrong as well.
Yeah.
And there are financial impacts as well, as per the regulations.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it could hit you in every shape or form. This
Yep.
is what I believe.
Okay, thanks, Anil. Anyone else wants to share something? Because there are more areas where you could see the consequences. Think about it. Think about the company. Think about the divisions, and think about the consequences. There are so many consequences. Anyone? Think about what could go wrong. And I'm not talking about the breach itself, the hack itself. Yeah.
So, for any company or organization dealing with the financial data, uh, the customer's credit card information or their financial information or bank account numbers could get leaked, which could be used by the attackers
Yeah.
when openly available, and then their, then that could also lead to financial vulnerabilities, and then the customers a lot could go wrong mentally as well as financially with the customers.
Yeah.
That
Very
could
good.
be harassing for them.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? That was a good one. Yeah.
And similarly for the health department as well, like there are sensitive information regarding the health data of the customers of an insurance company, or maybe for an hospital storing the data of their patients. uh, their data could also get breached, and that could also impact someone's
Yeah.
their privacy.
Okay. Thanks. Anyone else wants to share something? Any idea about the consequences?
See, by majorly, what I can see the market also. Yes, one is that loss of business. As a recent example is that Bajaj Finance is one of the biggest NBFC in India, right? Recently, IBI have stopped one of their cards, EMI cards. This is due to the security threats, and now they revoked after giving some confirmation to RBI that. So it's almost a a revenue engine for them, but they lost more than 100 crore or something revenue on that, right?
Yeah. Good. I will share my screen again, and then we'll share with you my idea, my perspective of the potential consequences. And I already heard a couple of consequences, but there are a lot more consequences. Think about financial losses. Yeah, one of the people already said it. But there could also be operational disruption because machines are not working or applications are not working. I've heard the potential reputational damage, but there could also be legal consequences. I come to any of these points with some examples. It could also lead to increased costs, loss of intellectual property if the attackers actually steal some of your ideas and sell it to other companies. There could be shareholder and investor impact. I mean, the share price could plummet. There could also be leadership and management scrutiny. And there could also be long-term impact and also long-term recovery. Now, let's go through each of those 10 points. So for operational disruption, it could mean that there is downtime because the attack crippled IT systems, which means that critical business operations like manufacturing, sales, or even customer service are affected. There could also be a loss of productivity because employees may be unable to perform their duties because their systems are offline or compromised. Now, okay, this is wrong title, but there could also be a loss of customer trust, brand damage. A lot of media coverage of the attack can harm the company's public image, and it could affect the future sales, partnership, and even investor confidence. And it could also impact the business relationship, like suppliers, partners, and clients, because they may reconsider the relationship with the company. Legal consequences. I mean, if you're talking about your customers or your partners or even shareholders, may sue you, sue the business for failing to adequately protect your data, leading to costly legal settlements. Another thing is compliance and regulatory scrutiny, because regulatory agencies may investigate the breach, leading to audits, fines, or stricter compliance requirements. Of course, it could also lead to increased costs because of additional cybersecurity investment, and maybe also increased insurance premiums. I already talked about it. The loss of intellectual property is also a big risk, and it could actually lead to the competitive disadvantage, because the theft of the data, trade secrets, or research can give competitors an edge, and that could also lead to the loss of market share. It could also lead to product delays. Stolen intellectual property or compromised systems may delay product launches or research efforts. Yes, a very important one. There could also be shareholder and investor impact, a decline in the stock price. That is the most visible one, but also shareholder lawsuits. I shared it a couple of slides before, because they may file lawsuits against the company for mismanagement. Leadership and management scrutiny is also something you don't want to have. So senior leaders, including the CEO, the CIO, or CISO, may face pressure to resign or to be replaced due to their failures. Another thing is that it could mean that it could lead to increased oversights. Boards and investors may demand stronger governance around cybersecurity, leading to changes in leadership or company strategy. Now, yes, of course, the long-term impact. If there is a hack and let's say 1 million, 10 million client data of 10 million clients was hacked, was breached, was stolen, it could mean that there is a loss of market share and damage to the reputation. Another thing is delayed growth plans. Resources that would have gone toward expansion, innovation, or new product development may be diverted to cybersecurity recovery efforts. And it could, last but not least, it could also lead to long-term recovery, rebuilding trusts, additional cybersecurity audits and certifications, new security policies, and maybe even a change in a business model. Why am I saying all of this? Is that it is really tempting with the technical knowledge to think and to focus on the technical aspects of cybersecurity. But I think the main reason why you would work in a CISO department is to secure business continuity and to avoid those things to happen. And this could also help you convincing people to actually team up with you, embrace the fact that you are there, and together in a cooperative way, ensure that all those domains and all those platforms and softwares that are used within organizations are being secured. Now, what I see as your role, depending on the actual role, because in some cases it might be a really technical role, is think about the doom scenario. And I would say your role is to make sure it doesn't happen and to ensure business continuity. Okay. Now, I would like to start discussing the other aspects of working in cybersecurity in the CISO, because like I said, it is not only about the technical skills you could bring in. There's much more. So I also want to open up the mic and ask people to share their perspective of the required skill sets that are necessary to make this role successful. Anyone?
Hi, Jasper.
Hi.
What I think is these days, along with the hygiene factor of going online, what should be checked, what not should be clicked on, the most important factor is social engineering.
Yeah.
With this social engineering,
Yeah.
people can
Yeah.
draw out all the information which they want, and
Yeah.
you may not be aware of this, how smart they are when it comes to chatting, when it comes to texting, when it comes to augmented reality, or sharing your any information on social media, be it Facebook, WhatsApp. For example, I give you an example where this may sound very odd to you, but this happened in our society, where one of the family who lives in our society, they went to holiday, and while holidaying, they are posting their pictures. So the people who are targeting their house for robbery,
They knew that they were not at home.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So for them, this is the easy target, bypassing all the security measures and checks, and this is what happens. So
Yeah,
people
and
are already aware.
Anil, my question to you would be like, okay, let's shift back to organizations.
Yeah.
And what kind of, my question to you or to anyone else is like, this is a good example, but what kind of a skill do you need to have to make sure that these people will never do this? So
First, you cannot eliminate the risk. As long as you're in the business, you cannot eliminate it.
yeah,
Second, you need to make them aware. Go through the courses, go through the modus operandi, and understand the pattern and the leaks. Check out, do a random survey, send in random email to check their understanding of how threats can creep in. Now, there are ways where you can design some quizzes or questions, go to some treasure hunting model where you give them certain information and they need to find out how they. So the people who will give the information, those could be scenarios where they're leaking the information and they're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
So this could be implemented in the workplace, or person who leaked the information, they need to go through some mandatory trainings as well.
Okay, good. Anyone else with an idea about, your skills? What kind of other skills than technical skills you need to become successful in a role like this?
So auditing skills is very important. I mean, if you are a good auditor, you will be able to test the controls, whether they have been correctly implemented within the organization, to understand, is there a threat which has been not yet attended.
Yes. Yeah. Good. Thanks, Dipanjan. Anyone else?
Risk management.
Yes. Yeah.
Able to identify and mitigate the risk.
Yeah.
And definitely the separation of duties and only granting the, like we say, principle of least privilege, implementing policies of principle of least privilege, and having separate people doing separate duties, and just giving them the rights or roles that they actually need to. Right? And based on that, there could be regular audit, like audits, as Dipanjan mentioned, that there could be regular audits taking place.
Yeah.
And based on and that information could be logged.
Yeah.
And monitored.
Malware analysis means on the basis, so that we can analyze how the malware is going to infect the system, so that we can take the security precautions against it, and thorough knowledge in the networking, so that we should know that how the web network is there, so that we can stop any malware in the middle of attack.
Okay, thanks. Anyone else?
I think I can, in a nutshell, and say that problem solving and analytical skills which are required.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, couldn't agree more. So let me again share my slide, and this is what my vision is about what you should bring on the table. Of course, a lot of technical skills, but also a lot of team, human, and stakeholder management skills to make things happen. You could say that the 3 columns over here, this is your daily work, because you collaborate with executive management, department heads, employees, legal and compliance, risk management. You need to be able to collaborate with all of those divisions and people within an organization. On this side, you need to collaborate with external stakeholders, customers, partners and suppliers, regulators, cybersecurity vendors, industry associations, audits. I've heard it many times. And at the same time, you need to make sure that your own work at the CISO office, if there is an official CISO office, that you can actually track your KPIs. Now, this is a pretty challenging role and job, because apart from some technical knowledge or a lot of technical knowledge, you need to understand business, you need to understand the organization, and you need to be able to maneuver yourself through the organization without people saying, oh, here's the cyber police. I hate these guys, you know, because they're always eating up bandwidth, and you know, they will always find something with a bug. So in order to make yourself successful, you need a whole bunch of social and team skills. Communication. You should be able to communicate what is important. You should be an extremely good collaborator. You should have problem-solving skills, but also leadership skills, because in some cases you need to talk to the executive management, and in layman terms, you need to explain the problem. You need to be adaptable. You need to come across as empathic. You need to show empathy, because nobody is waiting for you to eat up bandwidth or to add things on a roadmap, whereas other people had more important, their view, things on a roadmap. You need to have some creativity. You also need to be able to negotiate. Of course, if you're collaborating, you need to be able to share and receive feedback. Decision making is also pretty important, because in some cases you need to come up with scenarios like, okay, this is the best scenario, but it might also be the most expensive scenario. So you need to be able to come up with some decision making. Influence is also a thing. So if you're talking to a business head, but the actual decision would be taken by the board of directors, it is pretty important for you to use the business head and influence them. You need to have a lot of resilience. You need to take the ownership, and of course, ethics is also a big thing. You need to be able to deal with potential conflicts, because there will be conflicts, you know, because the sales department wants to sell as many products as possible, and if you stop them from doing so because there is some bug somewhere on the website, they will not be kind to you, and they will be frustrated. Teamwork, persuasion, also presentation skills, because in some cases you need to present and you actually need to be able to sell a problem. And also project management skills, because you know, if you really want to solve things, it's never a one button or a one-time deal, or one-time team up with a company. And yes, you also need to have some technical skills. Now, about the job market, and I've already seen a couple of pretty senior people over here, so you're probably aware of what's going to happen the upcoming years. The cybersecurity industry is expected to grow by 11% in 23. That was last year, and 20% in the next year. Employment of information security analysts is projected to grow 33% in the upcoming 10 years. Based upon the estimations, there will be 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs by 2025 due to a lack of skilled professionals and the need to secure more systems. Yes, it's really fun to work in cybersecurity. It's really fun to have this kind of crucial, pick up a crucial role, a really important role within an organization. But at the end of the month, it is also pretty nice to get your salary transferred to your bank account. And the salaries are pretty high. So in our company here in India, we have a couple of cybersecurity professionals. These guys have like 6-7 years of experience, and they're already at 50 lakhs, which is a pretty significant salary. We've worked for an American organization in Pune, and we tried to recruit a couple of, and we were successful with one of them, a couple of people in their cybersecurity department. And a lot of these candidates, they already were paid over 50 lakhs or 60 lakhs. And I even spoke to a really senior cybersecurity expert who had a salary of 85 lakh in India. I'm not talking about in the US. So it's a really, really nice, a nice area. And you're in the middle of the company. You're talking to everyone in a company. And I will now want to move over to the Q&A. If there are any questions or any comments, or maybe you want to share something.
Jasper sir, I have a question, if I may ask.
Yes.
Well, this is in context to what happened with the Microsoft outage.
Yeah.
Of course, it was a cyber attack. So are there some lessons learned and how the company is gearing up so that something like this doesn't happen in future?
Yeah. Okay, so you asking me what the lessons learned were, or?
Yeah. So what have the companies learned, and experts like you, what's your view? What is the way forward?
No, I think so. Honestly, I've not read a lot about this particular incident, but I think it is. I think companies. The most important thing is, to face the facts, because still some companies, they want to put it under the rock. Like, okay, don't tell, don't ask. This never happened. We're not going to inform our clients. So you need to face the facts, and you need to be open about this. This is the first thing. Now, I think the second thing is you need to find the root cause. But you not only need to find the root cause from a technical perspective, but also from a human perspective. And you even need to zoom out and look at it from an organizational perspective, because maybe there is something wrong with the organizational structure. And based upon that, you need to implement maybe new measures, new policies, maybe appoint new people. And this is of course the long-term strategy, because the first thing you need to solve the problem, and make sure that every port is closed. So I would say a short-term solution, and yes, also a long-term solution. And thanks for the question, Dr. Kuldeep. Anyone else?
Yeah, Jasper, I have a question.
Yeah.
With the advancement of AI,
yeah,
has the threat gone up or down?
I would say it's gone up. Yeah, definitely. And AI is such a big monster, so I could say. It is extremely helpful, but there are so many organizations, but also governments, they simply don't know what to do with it. And there are so many questions about AI, for instance, about intellectual property. So let's say you want to ask AI to write a book. Yeah, who is the author? Is that AI, or are you the author? But if you say like, okay, I want to write a book in the style of any kind of a writer, are you the author? So there are so many complications and also so many risks, because maybe also for hackers with the use of AI, they can much easier pretend to be someone else. Like it's really easy to create a fake video of the CEO, sending a video like, okay, could you please transfer 2 crores to this bank account? So from a cybersecurity perspective, I would say this is really risky. But we need to face the facts because it's all here. And it's, we need to battle. We need to deal with this.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions for me or also for the people from Chitkara? You have any questions, any doubts, or any fun stories where you were trapped and you clicked on a link?
I have a very simple question. I mean, what is the way out to protect an organization from data security threats?
The way out.
I mean, you have social engineering, you have got phishing emails. There are a lot of data loss which is happening within an organization. So what is a right program to be implemented within an organization to protect an organization from cyber threats?
Okay, so I think without joking, I think the best way is to just terminate the organization, because then you have 0 risks, and you can't avoid all the risk, but you can do a proper job being mostly secure. And I would say there's not a silver bullet, and it really depends on the company. It depends on the platforms. It depends on the people, the structure of the people. So, for instance, if you want to hire cybersecurity experts, if you want to create a department, where should it be in the organization? But so you need a strategy. And a strategy is a tailored strategy based upon the organization. And now, for instance, if you're talking about a hospital with a lot of sensitive data, patient data, or you're talking about a wholesale manufacturer in auto parts, that is a totally different organization with different risks. So it should be assessed organization based. And there are so many people who can actually help you with this. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I have got one more question. I mean, there are a lot of roles within an organization which are interlinked. There is a CISO, there is a CTO, there is a CIO, there is also a data protection officer, a DPO.
Yeah.
And these roles, somewhere they
Overlap.
converge.
Yeah.
And there can be also conflicts.
I know.
Yeah. So how to deal with those situations where there is some overlap in certain domains in terms of roles and responsibilities?
I've done this for the last 20 years before I moved into this organization, so I can tell you a lot about those organizational challenges and conflicts, because if one domain is successful, most probably the other domain is not successful. And this is where I would say all those social skills come in, because you need to have you need to really sense what's going on, and you need to find the right moment, the right time to make your point, and to be able to influence people, to make sure that things are put on a roadmap, because you don't have, in some cases you don't have your own roadmap. So it's the IT security roadmap. So you also need a lot of convincing power, and to convince people, we really need this. We really need this, and it needs to be done next week, not next year. But there is also, over here, there's also not a silver bullet. And I can tell you that this is one of the most complicating things. I mean, you can come up with the best consultants, external consultants. You can come up with the best anti-cybersecurity software or whatever, team up with partners. But you need to first sell the problem to the most important stakeholders.
Thank you for the answer.
Yes. Anyone else?
Yes, one question is that, as the online became a trend, so this give a rise to aggregators like Amazon coming picture, Flipkarts, and this give a stationed a secure kind of a shopping, right? So are you seeing similar kind of an aggregator? I'll just push the questions what Anil have asked, is that there are hundreds or thousands of AI tools now available. So you can't go in the market and give your data to anybody to manage, right?
Yeah.
Are we expecting some kind of big aggregators, maybe by the regulator or by in itself, it will give some kind of aggregator who have, managing the AIs?
Yeah, this is kind of a big question, but I agree with you. And there is one thing that I think nobody is aware. By any time you're using an AI tool, anytime you're using ChatGPT, Copilot, any kind of AI tool, you make the AI tool richer by filling in so much information. And any day that we become smarter with our prompts, we're also making these companies smarter. And in a lot of cases, I'm pretty sure that people working at companies are putting in sensitive data in a prompt, and they're not aware of it. But I think this was not your question. It was more like, okay, should there be like aggregators to protect your data? Yes, I think so. Because you now have an account at Netflix, Amazon. So you could say that